Good afternoon. Good evening. This message will be for, like I said, always say, whenever the messages find you is the right time for you to hear them. Doesn't matter what day, what time. I am recording this, however. After the full moon, we had an apex of the full moon, the Aquarius full moon this morning at 10:30-ish Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Daylight Time. Check the timing for wherever that was in your world. I'm recording this a little later in the day a lot later in the day than I normally do. And then this will also serve as the reading for, so today is July 29th. This will serve as the reading for the 30th of July as well. We're going to use the one we haven't used in a while, the Tarot of the Gemstones and Crystal by Helmut. Oh gosh, what's his name again? Helmut G. Hofman. So yes, this message will be for July 29th, going into July 30th. Two cards coming out. Ooh, goodness gracious. I felt this one coming. I'm surprised. Eight of Pentacles comes out with the Fool card. So okay, yeah. Well, we'll come back around to that. We'll pull a few more cards. Those two came out together. Silex is the the original name for red jasper. Amethyst, the Death card. Death card was in the bottom of the deck the other day. I didn't bring it up. It was kind of deep in there. I think it was yesterday's reading. Final card, Seven of Swords. Bottom of the deck, the Hangman. So, we have like a beginning and a not so obvious beginning. Death is only the beginning. We don't know what's on the other side of, whatever. And so that's the central part of our reading. It's definitely the time to take stock of where we're at. The moon is going to go, it's called void of course, which means it happens all the time. It's really interesting, though, that we've had two void of course moons in this week, in the run-up to the full moon, and then it will go void of course at like 9:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Again, check what that timing is for wherever you are in the world. But that means that if the moon doesn't make any aspects to other planetary bodies during that time, it's just kind of like on its own. So whatever we are bringing into that time is kind of like it's an extra moment of reflection on what, for on a significant moon that we've just had, we have this opportunity to kind of sit with has occurred? What kind of revelations have, revelations, revelations, to sit, Nine of Cups, to sit in the gratitude. This is a card of gratitude. Again, Three of Wands is here at the bottom of the deck. So we have this opportunity. I feel like there's so much gratitude that's showing up in the light of this full moon. And we're able to kind of see like just how lucky we are, like what has, again, I often say all the things that have brought you, all the experiences, everything that has, every ingredient that has brought you to this point in your life is important. It's not to be discarded or dismissed or as trash. Yes, you might need to put it out. It might not serve you, and you might not work with it in the same way. So again, you might have to put, some things need to be put to the side in order to, and we don't necessarily know how that's going to manifest, how that's going to serve us in future. But it's not something that we need to put our hands all over. We need to let it go in order for the transformation to occur, which is death. Something has to die in order to transform, some aspect of something. And so, something that, like, again, with the new beginning coming up, red jasper is something that gives us a lot of go, a lot of energy to do things. Coming up with the Eight of Coins, so oftentimes the Eight of Coins can be that point where there's something that we're working on that we've committed to for a long time, and we're kind of but there's a new beginning. There's a new energy coming into whatever that is. So, with these two coming up together, there's usually when it comes up by itself, it's like, well, I don't really know like how I want it. Like, what are the actions? What are the ways I want this to materialize going forward? You're really good. Whatever it is there's a big investment that's already been put into it. And it can kind of have that feeling of, well, do I want to keep working with it? Maybe I want to work with it in a different way. I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like there's a new beginning. There's a new energy coming into that. And that's absolutely true. Some aspect of it has fallen, whatever that situation is, has fallen away, but we're coming up with new ideas. And it's important not to, with the Seven of Swords, it's important to be, really loving in our perspective. How much, this is something, commitments, the things that we commit to, the things that are in our world, that we have, it's to, the commitment. Silver is malleable. Silver is a soft metal, so it is malleable. And so there can be a little bit of deceit, but it can be manipulated easily. So look at when you're looking at something like, oh, am I being manipulated? Am I being manipulative to the things in my world in order to keep that, what are the thought constructs? Is there a control game going on? Can I actually be gracious enough to take my hands off the swords? Right? Usually it's like two of the seven swords is something that somebody's picking up and going away. But the important thing is with the Seven of Swords is it's important to know exactly where you stand in the room, to really understand your intentions, get clear on your agenda, and to be willing to put down your agenda. So again, think about it. Come at the situation with gratitude. There's that Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck. And then the Three of Wands, and be willing to let things come towards you. We'd be willing to have like a sense of, like a plan, a strategy of when things are going to come towards you, how you want to do it. I had a lot of meditation on the word assumption today. I've used that a lot in some of the readings. That word has been coming up and coming up. How can we, instead of using the words, so again, language, communication, swords, how can we manipulate that a little differently? How can we look at things differently? Again, invite God's Spirit, invite our higher wisdom in, and instead of using assumptions and just automatically writing a story and then assuming that and running off with that story and assuming that, and kind of like my way or the highway, this card can be that way too. Instead, let's think about things a little bit. Let's come at this again with the Hanged Man, with the Aquamarine. Let's think about things from a different perspective, upside down. Let's flip the script. And instead of coming in with assumptions, thinking about assumption is coming at something with trust. This card can be, again, a card of mistrust, but we want some, like, again, let the mistrust die, let the mistakes go. So instead, let's look at the story, come at it with a fresh, clean slate, renew the commitment to something with a fresh, clean perspective, a fresh, clean eyes. Coming at things with instead an open-hearted sense of trust, an open-hearted sense of forgiveness. This is a card of Pisces. Pisces is about compassion and forgiveness. And then, yeah, Ace of Swords, we can come up with some better ideas. Page of Coins, we can learn things and accept new communications and comment things from a student standpoint, again, from a beginner's mind. So we have an opportunity here. Something that maybe has been really frustrating is there some light is being cast on it. We don't have to go at this, again, this is a void, of course, moon, usually not a time to act. It's really not the best time to act, and this void of course moon is going to go on for 12, I think 18 hours or 15 hours. It's going to, then it'll start aspecting and interacting with some other planetary bodies around a little after 12 o'clock, again, Eastern Daylight Time. Check your timing wherever you are. But yeah, we have, you have the opportunity to consider some things from a different perspective. Drop the assumptions and instead use that word assumption as open-hearted trust. I assume things are going to work out. I assume things are working out in the best and highest interest of every aspect of the situation. Placing that, using that word version of the word assumption, that definition, as opposed to assumption and in the way of mistrust and only one perspective, which invites, what I mean, again, there's missing information, and that's one of the things about the Seven of Swords. The individual is usually only picking up 2 of the 7 swords and going with that, but there are 5 other swords there that have that are also of use, right? So, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Again, this message is for July. I keep wanting to say January. Anyway, July 29th and the 30th. I hope this message finds you well. It is a message for the collective. On any of the platforms where you find it, feel free to direct message me if you want your own private reading, or share it with somebody who you think might need to hear it directly. I love you. Thanks for being here. Have a great day.